There we go.
Welcome. Give us a wave. Turn your cameras on.
You know the drill. Put your hands in the air. And
Yes.
some wave them like you just don't care. That's what's up. Start waving. Oh my goodness.
Oh, we've got a cool background from Anna Nicole. Look at that.
Catherine, turn your background on.
I'm honestly, it doesn't work that well. So I'm not even gonna try and mess this Joe show up with my background. So
like makes my hair invisible.
Yeah. So tell us where y'all are from in the group chat. We want to know where you're tuning in from. We have all of you muted, so type it in the chat. Oh, Boulder, Colorado. Awesome.
Yes. Make sure you leave the comments in the chat and make sure you click too. So we all want to see this.
Oh, Kansas, New Jersey.
Yes.
Okay.
Let us know where you're watching from. Say hi.
Italy?
We even got Italy. Rudy is on. My boys in Italy.
I was gonna say, must be from Siser, maybe. So we are so excited to have you all join us. A lot of people are still coming in. My name is Catherine and I am from Michael's. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, we do have everyone muted. If you have any questions, comments, anything, you want to just like dog on Joe, totally fine as well. Just throw it into that chat room. We're going to be watching that, answering your comments there. We'll answer them live. You know, thank you so much for spending your time with us. We know how precious this is, and we know how crazy the world is right now. So again, we are so thankful that you are joining us today. We're here to do everything that we can to make sure that everyone can still make and create and do the things that they love. I, of course, am so excited always to get to introduce the man that everyone is really here to see, because I know it's not me. Please welcome Joe.
Hey, what is happening, everyone? It is Joe. Not Exotic, sorry. It's not the guy from the Netflix shows. It's the other one, you know, Joe Non-Toxic, which is going to be the operative words of today's lesson. So to everyone from all over the globe, because that's right, we have our friends in Italy watching. So please keep letting us know where you're watching. I'm even seeing Detroit, my hometown. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day today on this beautiful Friday afternoon. This is another Zoom class that is being taken over by Siser. Yes, bringing up the first lesson today, which I do every one of these lessons, is how to properly pronounce Siser. And I even wrote it down on my shirt. You're probably seeing it backwards, but it is Siser. So if you've ever seen any of these rolls at Michael's, that is the name. It may be kind of too dark or too light for you, but if you can see that. So that's lesson number one. I want to give a big thank you to all the Michael's people for having me on again. Thank you to Michael's. You guys are awesome. This is my third class in the last 3 weeks. I've been doing one a week. And I think I've seen some of you guys on here, and it's awesome to see you come back for another lesson. This is for those that are just joining for the first time. Thank you so much for tuning in for this lesson. And I know that the sign up and all that stuff, I've gotten a lot of questions, but Catherine, you can definitely bother her as much as you can and how she can improve the sign up end of it. But you guys made it. We're here today. And we're going to go over a topic that is kind of been a pretty popular trend right now with the crafting world. And that is about the masks. So these masks that a lot of people have been wearing and making these days to go outside and to go do their daily duties and stuff like that. Now there's a lot of companies, a lot of crafters out there that are actually making their own masks, and I've talked to a ton of them. And I give a cool little shout out to my friend Connie, who actually sent me this one, which was one that she actually made, and she sent it to me because I didn't have any masks. I only had one that I took from which was a prop from a movie that I was in, and all this was just a thin piece of cloth, but this is kind of what I've been wearing out. So she sent me a mask that she's been making. Now, I've talked to a lot of people, and I see the question all over the internets and all over the crafting world about how can you decorate, if you want to decorate your masks, can you use Siser heat transfer vinyl? And I'm obviously just jumping right into Siser heat transfer vinyl. Obviously, there was questions about other forms of decoration on those masks, but what I'm going to show you today is really revolving around the Siser heat transfer vinyls, and go over also a big part of the benefit of the Siser heat transfer vinyls that Michaels does carry, and the big thing that we've been trying to educate people about our heat transfer vinyls is that they are CPSIA compliant or certified. And basically, the short story of that certification is that they are non-toxic, that they don't have any harmful additives or substances that might be toxic for you if you were to happen to ingest them. And this we've had forever, and this just now seems like to be a prime time to really go over that briefly, to just explain that all the heat transfer vinyls by Siser that Michaels carries are CPSI certified. So really what the benefit and where we were trying to educate people for a really long time about this is that a lot of people, how many people in here have decorated a baby garment between the baby, I'm going to say onesie, okay? I know it's bodysuit, or I'm not allowed to say onesie, but between that or like a t-shirt or something for a child or a baby, and even a grown adult like myself, I have a tendency to chew on shirts. I don't know what it is. It's, you know, it's tasty. But
Joe, that's weird. That's just weird.
Don't you start with me now.
That is just weird.
Sometimes it happens. You get bored. You're sitting around in line. You got to chew on shirts. It just happens. But babies sometimes do, and sometimes it might be it might have an opportunity to ingest a piece of the heat transfer vinyl. So more or less, the moral of that is that it is not harmful if ingested. So that is just a kind of brief description of the product. And if you ever did want certifications or any kind of proof, you can always come to us at Siser, and we can show you the certifications of which one of our products are CPSIA compliant, and you know, any kind of technical questions on that end. So the question, or the trend now has been the decoration on the masks. So any of these face masks. So I'm probably here with amongst a lot of people that have made their own masks, or they might be using variations of type, you know, these kind of face masks. But what I'm going to show you today is actually some of the masks that Michaels does offer and carry. And it's kind of been a touchy subject, and I've been getting a lot of feedback from people asking about them. And they're really awesome masks. So here's an example of the bag that they carry, and these are Bella Canvas masks. So they come in these packs of 10, and they are just basically like a, it is a polyester cotton blend, but it's kind of a fleecy feel to it. Now, I have to say, because I did get on I did have a conference call with Bella Canvas, because they just wanted to make sure that I did mention that they do recommend these masks, and I'm only mentioning these masks as a one-time or daily use. So they're really only recommending that you use them once a day, or, you know, for one day, and then once you take it off, then you dispose of it. So again, what I'm showing you today is decorating on these masks, and I understand that it may not be entirely practical to decorate on a disposable mask, but this is just to show you, if you aren't using these particular masks, what you could potentially do, and that it isn't going to be harmful.
Hey Joe, can you wash the masks? Do you know?
So now again, it depends on which masks you're using. I did ask Bella Canvas about that, and they said absolutely, it's just a fabric, you can wash it, but the concern is to make sure that you know the guidelines of how you should wash it. And that is also why they wanted to stress the daily use, because they don't provide the washing recommendations. So it's going to either be up to you to figure that out to make sure how to properly wash them. But absolutely, all it is a piece of fabric. So here's an example of a blank one. They come right out of the package. They already have these ear hole slits ready to go, and they just kind of strap on and stretch right over your face. So it's a pretty good coverage. Again, all it is a mask for you to wear out. And again, they're really stressing that it's not a mask to necessarily protect from everything. It's just protecting you or other people from you, essentially, and how you talk. So, but I'm going to show you how to decorate on a mask, and that's what the lesson is. And today I want to use one of my personal favorite Siser heat transfer vinyls that you can get at Michael's too. It's one that kind of always gets looked over. It is part of our Easyweed line, but it's kind of its own topic. It's its own genre, and that's our Easyweed Glow-in-the-Dark. And I'm going to try something at the end of this application to see if I can get the full effect. I was really looking forward to just flipping the switch here and like having it pop up, but there's too much light in my basement and I can't get it dark enough. But I'm going to take you into this. I'm going to let Catherine explain it. And then it's going to hopefully have the effect of what I want to show you with this product. So if you guys have any questions along the way, please feel free to chime in. Any kind of comments, let Catherine know and she can stop me while I'm going through this lesson. We're going to keep it pretty brief and just kind of roll right into it. Now, if you are cutting just like all our heat transfer vinyls, like again, for those that have never used these products, these are at Michael's. They come in rolls that look like this. They'll tell you which product type it is, so you want to make sure you look out for that. Now, with the Easyweed Glow-in-the-Dark, it is only white. Like, so when you get it and you see it in the store, it's going to look white. So it's going to look similar to regular Easyweed white, but the difference is obviously when the lights go out. So when you look at it and you want to use glow, just make sure you're looking for glow in the dark. And then, again, when you open these packs up, they're going to come with a tech sheet attached to them. Hang on to this tech sheet because it does have a lot of really good information for you. So certainly hang on to this. We also have access to our app, which is great because right there it has all of our application instructions, cutting recommendations, color swatches, all sorts of fun things for you to check out. Okay, so if you're working with a Silhouette, a Cricut, those vinyl cutters, you can absolutely cut the Easyweed Glow-in-the-Dark. When you get it out of the package, the trick is to make sure you lay it down with the shiny side facing down and the dull side facing up when you go to cut it. I'm going to just take you briefly through, and I did it last week through the last lesson, just to show you kind of how I personally like to set up my artwork and go through my proofing process is what I call it. So I imagine a lot of you guys probably have businesses and you may have websites and you may have things that you want to offer to people without actually decorating. And what this is called is proofing. And what I always recommend to people if you're working with customers is to send them a proof of what their design is going to look like before you actually go through and do an application and they say, I didn't want that. So proofing is very important. And I'm going to show you kind of what I did through Corel. I'll take you through a little bit in Silhouette Studio, and then I'll take you through Inkscape briefly and show you kind of the same exact thing through those. And so I'm just going to kind of switch screens here and start with Corel Draw.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
Can you layer the glow-in-the-dark Easyweed?
Absolutely. So you can, any of our Easyweed family, so any of the products that say Easyweed on them, you can layer them together. So if you wanted to layer Easyweed with Easyweed Electric or Easyweed with Easyweed Glow-in-the-Dark or any of those combinations that Michael's carries that has Easyweed on it, you can absolutely do that. All right,
so someone uses the glow on their dog's harness and their dog loves to stand out. And Joe, you love to stand out. So do you use the glow a lot on your clothes?
I do. Well, not. I mean, I use it to the appropriate amount. I use it more. I think the more popular time for glow in the dark is usually like Halloween time, the fall time. You know, where people have been decorating like their candy bags or decorating things that go outside while they're running around, and it looks really cool. But for me, I mean, it adds the effect for anything. I mean, Catherine, you probably still have sleepovers with your friends and do that kind of stuff, right? So, you
For
know,
sure.
your onesie pajamas, you could put glow in the dark, and I'm sure, you know, you guys could have fun playing hide and seek or whatever children do. So I'm going to switch over. I'm in Corel now. Does everyone see Corel? Am I in the right screen, Catherine? Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. This is how I set it up. So I'm just showing you guys a proofing process right now of what I like to do when I design and send out proofs to people to get the approval. So what I did first is I actually made sure I took a solid picture of my mask, and I try to keep everything in proper proportion. So it's very important to do. You can absolutely use just a regular image you took from your phone, upload it into your software, and then use that as a proof if you'd like. Or what I did right next to it was I drew it. So I actually made a vector version of the mask, and all I did was just trace it. And what I like to do, again, is make sure my proportions are correct. So what I did is I created a template that showed the actual length of what the mask is. And then I showed kind of the length of where I have to decorate and the width and the height. So to me, this helps me kind of find the area I have to actually move my design and place it. So if you knew you were using these masks and you had a lot of customer base that wanted something different, you could keep that template, and all you'd have to do is just bring your new artwork and just place it onto this area. So all I would do is just take, what I like to do first off is highlight all of that. And what I do is I lock it down so I can't, if I touch it, I don't move it around. Now this is my design. So I drew this up, and this is a one solid piece. I drew that, and as you can see, I cut it to where this tiny little piece here is all gonna be cut out, and this is gonna be my glow in the dark. Now the color doesn't really matter. It can obviously be white, which it is, but I wanted to see it, so I kept it sort of a, you know, pretend glow. And what I'm gonna do is just size that down and find my placement. So this is kind of what I like to do, and this is where I kind of began getting an idea of the placement onto the mask. And obviously, people like me, I'm a little OCD, so of course I'd like to make sure it's centered. But with the teeth of this design, this is where my mouth is gonna be. Is that gonna make any sense? Probably not. So what I wanted to make sure is that the teeth were centered as much as I could. And it kind of is cool because the rose kind of is offset to the face mask. So it's enough to where it isn't going to go into the slits of the mask, and I can press it. And this is why I say it's important to keep the proportions as much as you can, because up in the corner, it's going to tell me the size I need to keep my transfer here to go and send to my cutter. So any questions on this?
So there is a question for you, not necessarily specifically on this, but can you iron it onto a curved surface? Does it need support under it, or does it have to be flat?
You can iron it onto a curved surface like a hat, but ideally you want to make sure that your surface or wherever you're applying is getting adequate pressure. So the very important thing is to make sure that the pressure is even all the way across it. So like I said, like a cap, like the top of a hat obviously has that bowed surface area. So they do make hat presses that you can use for something like that, which is a curved press. So if you used other things, like if you wanted to decorate a football or a basketball or the toe of your shoe or things that have that curve to them, you can 100% use Siser heat transfer vinyl on those surfaces. It's just about how you apply it. So it really comes down. So if you used a home iron, you can use a home iron to use it or to kind of find that curvature. It's just very important to make sure that you're using the correct temperature and the correct pressure when you are applying.
We've got another question for you. Do you have a template for the standard vented masks that are rectangular for Corel?
No, unfortunately, like I said, what I just did in Corel, what I showed you guys, I just drew. So like I said, all I did is I took this mask blank and I took the photo. I just took my camera, took a photo of the camera, or I mean of the mask, and I'm gonna bring you into the silhouette. I'll show you in the silhouette studio what I did there too. Same thing, but I took a photo, and here we are in the studio. For those that actually know this program a little bit better, so this image here, I took a picture of that. Then I just brought my JPEG into my software, and then I actually just went in and I drew it. So I used my tools over here, and my pen tool or my drawing tool, and I just drew the shape of it, and I made this my proof. So this portion of it is now my proof. So in your case, for those that have the, like I was saying, people in here, we all have different kinds of masks. You're probably working with a ton of different styles of them. So I would recommend you kind of do the same thing. I'm not sure if there are actual accurate templates out there for you to do that, but this is what I recommend. Just take a photo, draw it as accurately as you can, or like I said, you don't even need to draw it. You can use this. I mean, if you wanted to, you use and bring your design onto the actual image of your mask and do what I showed you by manipulating it. I'm just showing you kind of where I am when I get kind of OCD about setting up my artwork properly and making sure that the dimensions are at their accurate size and all that stuff. So same thing in Illustrator. What's cool is you do have these kind of straight line tools that, you know, again, I use more Corel in Illustrator, but when you use a tool like this, as you can see, you can actually kind of measure out your dimensions. So if you wanted to find out what the actual size is height wise, you can obviously change the color up here. You can change the thickness so you can see it a little bit better. And as you can see, when you look up at the top here, it's about 5 inches high from the nose to the bottom. And then if I went from one side to the other side and kept it by the ear slits, it's somewhere close to, sorry, I'm getting messages and stuff up here. It's close to about 8 inches across. So what I did right here with this line, that's about 8 inches area. And again, you can adjust by changing the different colors up here, switch your stem thicknesses. And so that's kind of what helps me out when I need to know how much area I have to decorate. So this is just a little added part of this whole lesson for those that have businesses and you do want to send out a proof before you actually go and do a job for a customer, is to create something like this. And it's obviously something that you can make a bunch of different proofs in the images and put them right up on your website and show people exactly the kind of stuff that you can do for them in terms of decoration and customization. So that is, you know, just like Corel, you can do this in Illustrator or Silhouette Studio. And then lastly, this is another program that I'm slowly learning because someone mentioned it last time, and it's a really cool software, I must say, every time I use it. This is Inkscape. So Inkscape is a free online platform that you can actually do a lot of different kind of drawing and manipulation and vectorizing and everything I just basically showed you in both those programs, and it's free. So this was exactly like what I showed you before, and going through the same thing. They even have a ruler option up here where you can draw out your length as well. the only thing that I guess I'm still learning, you have to change the units all the time from, it goes to pixels to inches, and I can't really find where you can automatically change it. But this is essentially the exact same thing. I always recommend doing that. So that is kind of what I wanted to talk about with the proofing end of it. Now, now we're going to get, once we have our design good to go, we're sending it over to our vinyl cutter. So now if you were in Silhouette Studio for your silhouette, or if you're in the Cricut design space, you know to send it right over to your vinyl cutter. I'm seeing the question about you'd have to flip the design before you cut it, unless you're using something like Sparkleberry. Yes. So what that is referring to is printed heat transfer vinyl. So when you have printed heat transfer vinyl, you don't need to mirror your image. That's because you're using a mask to lift it up to go into, or go to apply it on your textile. In this case, we're not doing that. So with any of the Siser heat transfer vinyls like EasyWeed, you actually need to mirror your image. So make sure when you go into your software that you do click the mirror button or reverse button, or however it's phrased, before you send it to your vinyl cutter, because you're actually going to be cutting in reverse. And I know you can't see it, but you're cutting on the doll side, you're cutting mirrored, and then once you get that done, we're going to go on to the weeding portion. Now, the question we get all the time, how do I know where to set up my vinyl cutter before I do the cut? Again, use that reference that comes in the tech sheet in that roll of Michaels, or at the Siser heat transfer vinyls from Michaels, because again, that app that we offer at Siser has our recommended cut settings on it for each product. So use that as the tool if you need help getting an idea where, and those are of course ballpark, right? So you just need to make sure your blade's in good condition, your cutting strip's in good condition before you do a cut, and always do a test cut. Does anyone have
Joe? Yeah, we've got a question for you. Sorry, you know how I like to interrupt you. Will you hold up that sheet again that comes on the Michaels rolls and just kind of point out where that really good info is?
So this is the tech sheet that comes around a roll like this. So this is a roll of Siser EasyWeed heat transfer vinyl that's at Michaels. When you take it out of the plastic and you unravel the sheet, this is a tech sheet that's going to come with it. And I'm not sure if you can see it 100%. I know the text is small, but it does have our instructions on application. It does have our recommended fabrics we suggest using for the particular product. And again, these QR codes in the center here will link you right up to the Siser app, which will have more information about our products and about whether, you know, recommendations, application instructions, and all that fun stuff. So if you have any questions on that, for sure, let me know. Now, I already have my piece cut. I already did that, ready to go. And again, and what's great about the Siser product, you can absolutely use a home iron. I'm not going to use a home iron tonight because, I did say tonight, we're in the afternoon, because I'm going to show this new thing that Catherine's going to get really mad at me about, because Michaels is going to be carrying these very, very soon. Very, very soon. But I have this awesome heat press that I'm going to be applying my mask with. And I'm going to just, so we can see it here. Look at how beautiful. So this right here is a heat press by Siser that is going to be available at Michaels very, very soon. Not yet, but I'm going to use it just to show you kind of how quick the application can be. Now I'm using this, it is a 9x12 surface area, so it's ample space to do a full front and decorate an entire garment to do the design I have on my shirt all in one press. I have my temperature setting already set up at the top. I don't know if camera 2 might be a better shot for it, but up at the top is where I have my temperature, which is I'm set to 305 degrees. The next is my time, which I have 15 seconds. And then when you click it back, it's going to go back to the main screen, which is going to start heating up your press. So this is already turned on. Now, this is going to be the other benefit when you do have one of these presses and you're using our EasyWeed line, is everyone on here is probably familiar with our weeding process, which is what I'm doing here and removing the excess material. And what's awesome about our glow-in-the-dark, just like our other EasyWeeds, is it does have a sticky carrier. So it does make it easier to weed, and it also, in case you do have any mistakes, it makes it easy to place it back down. Now, huge benefit when you're working on a heat press and you're working with EasyWeed is you can actually speed up your weeding process. And all that is while your heat press is on, you just close it on that lower platen for a few seconds, and it warms up that surface area. Once you do that, you could take your cut piece of EasyWeed or EasyWeed Glow, like I'm doing here, and then it makes your weeding process, I hope this is working for you guys, but it makes it 1,000,000 times easier. Just because that pressure sensitive backing, you want to make sure you don't have overly detailed, but I know this might be hard to pick up on this, but it is weeding so much easier. That heat of that warmed up lower platen. Now this isn't my heating element, that is. So you want to be careful to make sure you're not touching that, please. We've all made mistakes. But this warms it up and allows the heat to kind of warm and loosen up your excess pieces. So me weeding this is falling off so much easier than it typically would, hence the name. But you just want to be careful that your cut pieces are good. You certainly don't want to, if you weed this and you have a bad cut, then it's certainly going to be problematic because you're going to see a lot of lifting. But again, if you have lifting, you can lay it back down. It is a sticky carrier, so there we go. We have our cut piece. It's good to go. Now, don't have to change anything here because now we're going to actually do the application. The one thing you do want to make sure when you are using this press is that you do have your pressure set correctly. You want to make sure that you have to actually kind of apply force to close it. Sorry for the shaking. But you do want to have that. You do want to have that force when you're pushing down on it and it's going to pop up like that. So make sure you eat the Wheaties before you start working on any kind of thin fabrics. Because the thinner the product, the more pressure it requires. So you certainly want to make sure you have flat, even pressure when you're using this. So we're going to decorate this.
I was just given permission to divulge a little bit more on this Siser heat press. And I can tell you that it will be available in stores in September. So the countdown is on.
It's on. September.
It's on.
Look forward to. Yes. Okay, so there you go. You just heard some brand new news. You guys are the first ones to hear it in this class. So you guys just got some awesome information. Way cooler than whatever I'm showing. So good job for stealing my thunder, Kevin. All right, so what I'm going to do is find my placement in this very ill-lit basement of mine. And again, I want to make sure that the center has the teeth, right? Because I don't want it to be offset. So I want to line that up there. And again, because I did my testing and my measurements, I know that I'm perfectly lined up in the center to where the ear hole or the slit of the ear placement is on this side. So now I know I'm good to go. And once this is on there, well, recommend using a cover sheet. So if you have a piece of parchment paper, you can absolutely use that as a cover sheet. I'm using a non-stick cover sheet right here. It doesn't matter what you're using. Even if you're using a home iron, absolutely you can use a Teflon cover sheet if you have that. Or I'm sorry, a piece of parchment paper if you have that. And then what you got to do, press it for 10 seconds. And what's great about the EasyWeed line is it's a hot peel. So you don't need to wait around till that cools off. But what do you guys think? Pretty sweet. I mean, I'm going to rock this, right? Because the experiment is now. So I'm going to move this to the side. So good news there, right? We're all excited. The heat press is going to be available. not make that crazy bright. It's going to be available in September, so you can do exactly what I just showed you right there. Now I have an awesome customized face mask. Nope. Okay. What do you guys think? Pretty cool? Edgy?
So Joe, I have a pretty serious question for you. When you were
Always.
designing that, were you feeling creepy and romantic at the same time?
I tend to live off of that creepy and romantic. No, I think I was influenced by this mask that I've had for a while, and yeah, why not? I mean, you brighten it up, make it a little crafty by adding a rose to it. So that was kind of something I whipped up. But the real test about this lesson, and again, I wanted this reveal to be awesome and simple by me not having to leave this area that I'm in, because I wanted to actually show you guys the glow of the Easyweed Glow-in-the-Dark. So what I'm going to try to do, and I just want to let you guys know that this is going to be a total experiment, just like these Zoom classes have been. I'm going to try to take you to somewhere that is going to get a little darker and show you guys live. This is probably going to get a little shaky because I'm going to take this other camera and we're going to go into this dungeon and hopefully get to see the glow in the dark.
So just so everyone knows, Joe is about to take you into his basement pantry, which is where he keeps all of his hoard of K-cups.
Yeah, a lot of coffee. Okay, so do you guys see this? I'm disconnected.
No, we're seeing you walk and looking special. Yeah, we see you.
Right, so here we go, guys. We're going into the dungeon. Oh, hold on. You know what I gotta do? I think we're gonna try. I gotta charge it. So what I'm gonna do, just to show you guys.
While you're charging it, someone would like you to play the drums for them.
Okay. No one wants that. So what I'm doing here, because I guess this is a lesson, because my Easyweed Glow-in-the-Dark has been sitting in the dark. You actually do have to charge this. So really what the benefit, just to let you guys know, because this is a good talking point. Ideally, you want to charge it in the sunlight. So when you get outside and you wear this on your shirt or in your face mask, the sunlight is ideally the way to charge the glow in the dark. And what that's going to do is allow almost 6 hours of glow in the dark. If you spend like, I think 7 or 8 hours out in the sun, you will have an ideal charge. So what I'm doing here is I'm kind of tripping it out and just kind of letting these LED lights charge it up, which it does work that way, which you should be completely fine doing. But ideally, the sun is the best.
Joe, how many charges can it hold? That's a weird way to ask it.
You can already see. You can see. Look at that. At the dungeon.
How proud are you right now, Joe?
All right, there it is. What do you guys think?
I mean, I as much as I hate to give you credit, that looks pretty cool, Joe.
See? And then it's white. So that was a little trick right there. And charging it with the lights actually does help speed it up. We did find with black lights, and I don't know how popular black lights still are, but people that use black lights, you can absolutely charge them under, or charge the glow in the dark under black lights, and that will charge it right away. These LEDs will charge it, but the best results is to be under sunlight. And as you saw, just within holding this up to that light for 10 seconds, that's how much charge it got. For those that do use black lights still, Catherine, for your sleepovers.
Stop it.
These fluorescent colors of Easyweed too. These fluorescent colors, which are, this roll is not, but I've had a couple of Michael's rolls down here that have the fluorescent EasyWeed. If you have those under black light, it's really cool. So that's another little fun project if you ever wanted to try that out, or if you had a something that you were doing like party wise for kids, whatnot. With black light for sure, the fluorescent EasyWeed colors and the glow in the dark. But glow in the dark for sure is one of the products that I think is underutilized, and I think this was a prime example of something awesome, because again, if you're walking outside at night and you had a mask like that on, it'd probably be kind of creepy. But of course you could come up with your own fun things to do, your own kind of designs. My rebuttal to a lot of people that have been kind of, I don't want to say negative, but kind of just not feeling the idea of decorating a mask and asking why would you do that, to a disposable mask especially, is listen, we have a lot of stuff coming up that we still want to go and celebrate and do stuff in a normal manner. Like, Mother's Day is coming up. Kids are going to be graduating soon. I'm sure you guys have kids that are graduating from school, and birthdays and stuff like that are coming up that we still want to go outside and do stuff. So why not wear a mask and be safe about it, but have a positive message to it, right? And let that be part of your community, and let that be part of your party. I mean, there's always ways of finding a positive out of all of this, negative, I guess, that we've been dealing with. So, that's kind of what I've been telling people. But I think a lot of people are finding really clever ways of decorating their masks, and obviously safety is most important. So we certainly at Siser wanted to clear the air and hopefully answer any questions you may have about, or any apprehension you may have about using Siser products onto your mask. And just to let you know, like I said in the beginning of the class, all the products, all the heat transfer vinyl from Siser that Michaels carries is CPSIA certified. So it is safe to put on a mask. Now, the placement, that is one thing that I do want to kind of address briefly, because we're learning as we go along. And I know I have my cohorts from Italy are on here right now, and we've been trying our best to make sure our communication is on par with each other. And we did release a statement at Siser earlier on to say, yes, you can absolutely decorate with Siser heat transfer vinyl on your face mask, but we're advising to not decorate near your nose and mouth area. With our professionals and our laboratory at Siser North America, or Siser Italy rather, they have found that there actually isn't a negative to even having a transfer in front of your nose and mouth area. So that we actually just recently came out and retracted our statement. We're learning just like everybody else is. And unfortunately in these times, everybody's learning something new every day. So we did go back and let people know that actually, if you wanted to put a placement with your Siser heat transfer vinyl in front of your nose and mouth, that's okay. You still have the ability of breathing through the sides or above and below. So I just wanted to make sure that any kind of questions or reluctancy and apprehension on that were absolutely addressed. That we do take this very seriously. I hope you guys are all taking this seriously, but it is a benefit of using the Siser products currently if you do want to decorate. You do want to be cautious of other styles of how you decorate. I'm not professional in those areas, but you want to be cautious of some of the inks. If you are using screen print, or if you're using other kind of ink transfers onto your mask, it is important to make sure that you do question those manufacturers and you go and ask, what is in this ink? Am I able to do that? Any of that kind of stuff is very important to address. So
Joe, I've got to stop you. Cindy Q has her mask on right now, and it's glow in the dark, and it's so cool.
Oh yeah? Where is it? Can we put her in the front?
I have no, I'm just.
Can I see it? Yes. That is awesome. Good job. See that? That's thinking ahead. So that's exactly something you can do. Again, I'm just showing you just not even scratching the surface with the projects and stuff. I just whipped this design up. My last 2 classes with Michael's, the artwork that I did for those projects, I did offer to all of you amazing people that are tuned in today for this class. And if any of you guys would like this design, I will happily hand it over to the people of Michael's to get to you, because, you know, I mean, it'd be awesome to see the artwork out there and seeing how you guys utilize that. But if not, it's cool. I get it. It may be a little too scary for some. Yeah, the Stormtrooper one is very cool. But yeah, if you guys, any questions, any last minute questions on that, this was kind of what I'd like to obviously address in what's currently going on. Let you guys know that the stuff you're reading all over the internet that may contradict what I'm saying, absolutely question them. Where did they get their info? Come back to us. Like, ask us at Siser, right? Like, ask us the source on these things if they regard our products. Michael's obviously has been a stellar provider of all of these things, between the Siser products, these masks, amongst all the other craft things that people have been utilizing at this time to create their masks and help one another. So, you know, they're obviously a great source and where you want to go if you're looking for it. And obviously they're still online killing it with the orders through there, because the stores, they'll be opening soon. I mean, the hope is everything's opening up soon, in a smart manner. And as you heard here, the heat press is going to be available in September. So that is something to certainly look forward to. But thank you guys so much. And if you have any questions, feel free. Michael's does have the other classes that I did the last 2 weeks on their website as well. That website can be provided by Catherine. And you can go and link and check out what I did the last couple weeks. And I have one more next week. And I think the project's going to be along the lines of Mother's Day, because you mothers are amazing and we all owe our lives to our mothers. So, you know, let's do something to acknowledge that and try to keep some positivity going. I can't thank you guys so much. This means so much for you guys to tune in and take the time out of your busy days. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, and hopefully I'll see you next weekend. Okay? Is that cool, Catherine? Are you good?
Yeah, so right. Huge thank you, Joe. Thank you everyone again for joining. We so appreciate the time that you've shared with us today. We know that you all have busy lives going on even in this crazy time. And like I said, we are here to make sure that we can keep you making and creating and just having fun and being happy. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to Michael's via social media, Siser via social media. All Joe does all day long is on social media. But we are here to help you. We want to help you and just do whatever we can to help you get through this crazy, crazy time and even after it. We have classes, virtual Michael's classes every single day. Please go take a look, michaels.com/online classes. I don't know if you can see me, but here's a sign, just in case you can't understand me. We have a ton of really, really awesome classes that you can sign up to take. And Joe, of course, everyone's favorite. Wow, creepy and romantic at the same time. Well,
oh, I'm sorry, it's not a horse.
Okay, thank you, Joe. I don't think we need to get into that. But again, everyone, great questions, great comments. Joe, everyone loves you, and you already know that. So just, I'm ready to get you off the screen. But thank you all again, and have an amazing weekend. Keep making, reach out to us. We are here for you. And that is all. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Michaels. Be safe.